Thank you, Madam Secretary. Kate said to me before we started this was her first press conference. I think you handled it quite well. And I look forward to continuing to work with you, and we thank you for all the wonderful work you've done for students and families across Pennsylvania. We're also very pleased to be joined by Bob Smith, whom you'll hear from in a moment. And I want to say a word about Karen Stout in a moment, because I want to tell you why I got involved in this issue in the first place. In 2004, when I was running for office for the first time, I knocked on about 18,000 doors that year. So that's what I did. I went out and I met and talked to people. And one day when I was done knocking on doors, we had a couple of young volunteers with us, and I leaned over to this young woman who was with us, who was a student at Montgomery County Community College, and I said, you know, where are you registered to vote? Because she wasn't from my district. She said, I'm actually not registered to vote. And I said, well, why aren't you registered to vote? You're over 18. You know, this is going to be an historic election. You had John Kerry, George Bush. Heck, you had me running on the ballot. And she said, well, I'm not going to vote because politicians never talk about issues that matter to me. And I said, well, I think you're right in part, but unless you vote, you don't get a voice in the process. And what matters to you? She said, you know what really annoys me? It's that I'm a student at Montgomery County Community College. I want to transfer to a state school, and I'm not able to take my credits with me. She said, you can do something about that, then we'll be able to, then I'll register to vote. But you have to promise me you'll do something about it. Well, fast forward, I got elected, and one of the first meetings I had was with Karen Stout, the incredible president of Montgomery County Community College. And Karen's wonderful because she'll ask you to help support the community college with funds, but she also cares very much about the policy and how we educate our children in this Commonwealth. The first thing on Karen's bullet list for me and for our delegation was to pass a statewide articulation agreement. She was really the champion in my mind, the woman that introduced to me the substance and the specifics of this issue after the conversation I had with my volunteer that day in 2004. And so I came up to Harrisburg and I began pounding the pavement talking about needing a statewide articulation agreement. And my colleagues and some others looked at me like they had no clue what I was talking about. And it was hard to get traction that first few months until we dubbed this the tuition tax. And friends, that's really what it is. What we were doing by not allowing students to take their hard-earned credits with them was we were adding a tax on their tuition. We were forcing them to take credits and courses over and over again in order to graduate. We were prolonging their experience in college and making it harder for them to get out into the workforce and improve the economy here in Pennsylvania. It's all tied together. It's all inextricably linked. And so when we started fighting to end the tuition tax, we began to get some more friends. And I certainly want to thank Chairman Dwight Evans, who was a strong proponent of this when we worked on it during my first budget here. Senator Vince Fumo, then the chairman of the the Senate Appropriations Committee. We thank him for his leadership. Those two helped us drive this issue home, and it was really with the leadership of the community colleges, our our state system, and bringing along the state relateds, who then made great contributions to this process, that ultimately we were successful in June of my freshman year. We're making a difference for students all across Pennsylvania by doing this. Kate talked about some of the specifics. I was encouraged to hear the number of schools that are not mandated under the law that have joined in, schools like Seton Hill and others. And I am confident that as we demonstrate the success of this program, our other three state relateds will join Lincoln and become part of this program. And I think Karen and Bob and others, we're going to maybe expand this to 60 or 70 or even 80 credits. I think this is just the beginning of this process. I think we need to continue to work on this and make sure that as many credits as possible in Pennsylvania can transfer, make our school experience better for our students, be able to eliminate that tuition tax on all classes that are taken and get our students out into the workforce here in Pennsylvania as soon as possible. Finally, let me just salute the hardworking men and women of PDE and your Secretary, Jerry Zahorchek. I know how hard it was to bring together the 32 schools, and notwithstanding how cooperative they all were, the work you all did in pulling everyone together, in making this website possible through the leadership of the AcademyOne folks, I am truly grateful to the PDE folks, to the Rendell administration, and certainly to our outstanding state system and community colleges here in Pennsylvania. And without further ado, I would like to invite up my friend and the person who, again, inspired me, along with that young volunteer, to move forward on this legislation, someone who's been a visionary not just at Montgomery County Community College, but for the community college system all across our great Commonwealth, and that is my friend Karen Stout.